Roman Abramovich is a former resident of Kensington and Chelsea, and he still owns frozen property in my constituency. As the House will no doubt be aware, he was sanctioned in March 2022 and his UK assets were frozen. In May 2022, he sold Chelsea FC under an agreement that the sale proceeds would be used for humanitarian need in Ukraine. It is shameful that almost 4 years later, that money has still not been released. So I strongly welcome the Prime Minister's leadership in issuing a licence last month to release the money within 90 days and a commitment to take legal action if necessary. This is a case of profound national and international importance and a test of whether our sanctions should have the bite that they should. So I do find it astonishing, and I respect the right honourable gentleman's cross-party spirit of this, but I do find it astonishing that such a serious conflict of interest has now emerged at the top of the Conservative Party. Shameful. As Sir Bill Browder himself has said, the man who has spearheaded the global campaign for Magnitsky sanctions, how is it possible that a shadow Attorney General can, and I quote, moonlight as the attorney for a Russian oligarch who is trying to wiggle out of a £2.5 billion deal to aid victims of the war in Ukraine that he made with the UK government? Back in the day, that was called a conflict of interest. And I agree with Sir Bill, and I suspect the right honourable gentleman has sympathy with this point. And the details, Madam Deputy Speaker, matter here. Yesterday, Lord Wolfson published a letter saying that the Prime Minister got his facts wrong and that he was not advising Mr Abramovich on UK sanctions or the proceeds of Chelsea FC. Now, first, the Prime Minister did not in fact say that Lord Wolfson is advising Roman Abramovich with regard to UK sanctions and the proceeds of sale of Chelsea FC. The Prime Minister, however, did say that Lord Wolfson is advising Mr Abramovich. That is true, as both Lord Wolfson and the opposition spokesperson have now confirmed, and the record, in my view, should be corrected. Second, Lord Wolfson's letter omitted the most crucial piece of new information released by the opposition spokesperson yesterday, which is that the Shadow Attorney General has now recused himself from advising the Leader of the Opposition and Shadow Ministers on Ukraine and Russia. Now, quite apart from whether you can be an effective Shadow Attorney General when you are unable to provide legal advice on the most important issues facing this country, including Ukraine's security guarantees, to name but one, this recusal raises serious questions. Does it include efforts to tackle the Russian shadow fleet, including the military action yesterday? Does it include sanctions policy and enforcement? Does it include tax policy? As we know, the BBC have said that Abramovich could owe up to £1 billion of UK tax after a botched attempt to avoid tax on hedge fund investments via shell companies in the British Virgin Islands.
Shameful.
Third, it is naive in the extreme to think that it is possible to separate the various legal cases Mr Abramovich is engaged in which affect UK national interest. The Times reported that Abramovich's own representatives say that £1.4 billion of the proceeds from the sale of Chelsea cannot be released to a charitable foundation until legal proceedings brought by the Jersey government are concluded. So I would welcome clarification from the shadow frontbench, from the Minister, whether they consider that the ongoing litigation and Mr Abramovich's position on its connection to the transfer of the Chelsea FC proceeds conflicts with the ability of that money to be transferred speedily. Fourth, there has been a concerted effort to conflate the vital principle of the right to legal representation with preventing a conflict of interest occurring. I absolutely support the right of people that I may find disreputable or worse to have legal counsel, including sanctioned individuals. That is the basis of a strong legal system. But it is a choice to serve as Shadow Attorney General, and it is a choice to represent a sanctioned Russian oligarch in the Jersey case. My view is that these two roles are incompatible. By recusing himself from giving the Conservative Party legal advice on Ukraine and Russia, Lord Wolfson has confirmed himself that it is not possible, in his view, to do this while being paid to represent Roman Abramovich, and that given the choice, being paid to represent Roman Abramovich is more important to him than fulfilling his duties as Shadow Attorney General. He could have made the opposite choice, and he did not.